What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. We're here, episode 5 of I Agree, Go Cavs. I'm your host, Jacob at Roaches and 13, joined by Mr. Tyler Johnson. Tyler, how are you doing this fine Saturday evening?
Hey, man, doing pretty good. That Ohio State game gave me a heart attack today, but won the game. That's all that matters at the end of the day. We get to talk about the best team in Cleveland, man, and it's a blast. Anytime I get to hop on and talk Cavs, it's exciting. You're witnessing very well what could be the most talented Cavaliers roster we've ever seen, and it's just fun to watch, man.
I labeled this episode, I'm dropping it here in the chat. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can see in the chat I just dropped a link to this awesome homage shirt that I've got on here, my Let 'Em Know Cleveland Cavaliers shirt. That's really awesome if you guys want to check that out. It'll be in the description if you're watching the rewatch or listening to the audio as well. I named this episode Depth of the Roster Steps Up. And I think that's where what you just said makes the most sense, is that all of a sudden we were looking at a team that did not have Darius Garland, did not have Donovan Mitchell. Not that these guys went down. These guys didn't play. So you didn't have your top 2 stars, and then your third all-star on the roster said, that's all right, don't worry about it. I'll put up some insane numbers. Oh, and I got this guy, Evan Mobley, over here that's going to play. Karis LeVert's going to facilitate really well. The whole bench is just going to score. They're just going to all get buckets. like it's going to be an absolutely insane game, and I just had so much fun, and we'll dive right into it. I did real quick, our friends at Homage. I've got the Homage on here. They're the best in the biz. Cavs, Guardians, Browns, Ohio State. I put it in the link if you're watching in the description. If you're watching us on Twitter, if you want to join in live and talk about the game, head on over to YouTube or Facebook where we can see these comments. But Tyler, I'll start with you, man. What is off this? So we've got 2 games to talk about. I don't know where you want to start. I think we kind of have to start with yesterday's game just because of the way we can get to the Boston game on Wednesday. Both games having happened since the last episode. But is it just what from yesterday was your biggest takeaway when you kind of just talk about all this?
When you talk about this Cavs team, you have to start with, you have the stars. You have Garland, Mitchell, but they were not playing. So you came into this game against Detroit, and did I believe we could win? Of course. I do. I think this team has a lot of talent besides Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. But when you're missing your 2 bona fide stars like that, I was a little worried about this game. I actually thought that this could be a game that we lose. What we saw last night was just pure depth. The Cavs have depth everywhere, and Dean Wade did not play well. He didn't. Still was +2. Isaac Okoro, I've been really not a fan of him all year. He did decent in him starting, but when he was out there in the fourth quarter, late when you're getting destroyed, that kind of told me kind of what the coaching staff thinks of him long term. But Karis LeVert showed up, had a great performance, leading this offense. I mean, he did exactly what you wanted to do, a well-balanced game. But Kevin Love was fantastic in this game. Only played 23 minutes and nearly had a triple-double. So what we see, Jacob, is this isn't just a star-studded team. This is the most well-rounded team in the NBA. And I don't think that's a stretch to say. It's early in the year. It is. We're 7-1. It's an 82-game season. This Cavs team is the most well-rounded team in the NBA. And right now, I don't really think it's close.
You kind of talked about Dean Wade not playing well, but let's look at this. You have your top 2 starters out.
Yeah.
Dean Wade, one of your starters, doesn't score a point.
Yeah.
You almost won by 30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think what you said was a stretch. I don't think it's a stretch at all. To say that they're how many teams are going to do this? And I'm not as well versed with the NBA as I am with the NFL. I am very focused on the Cavs, and I'm trying to get a little bit more well versed on this sort of things. But I don't know a situation I kind of made a joke to you yesterday we were talking in the group chat, and you were like, yeah, we were talking, it seems like the right call to sit Garland and Mitchell and try to get them healthy for the back-to-back with LA tomorrow and Monday. And, it's like, okay, I think this is the good point. And you're like, yeah, it's okay. Everybody in the chat kind of conceded, like, it's okay to take an L here, right? And I made a joke. I was like, yeah, but it's the Pistons. Like, we should be okay. You should not have beat the Pistons like that. Like, I don't – there was a run. Like, right. So I had to fight with Bally Sports, and anybody out there that is watching the Cavs with Bally Sports, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I could not log into the app. I couldn't get it on my phone. I couldn't get it on my TV. What I was able to do, and this apparently is a hack. So in case you guys are curious, if it is not working in the app, go straight to your web browser and log in, because I was able to watch it that way, and then I cast it onto my TV. But that was in the late first quarter when I was able to turn this on, and they were trailing. They could go on this like 30-8 run or something like that. It was like this really weird run that they go on, this massive thing. And after that, I don't believe the game ever got down to single digits.
Correct. Going on Bally Sports real quick, I'm very fortunate that my parents have DirecTV. So what I do is I just have the Bally Sports app and sign in with the TV provider. So I get and that's been working for me, thankfully. But I mean, you kind of talk about it though, the runs that this team is able to go on, because this game did not start out very well for the Cavs. I mean, they did lead by 3 after the first quarter. They didn't come out on fire by any means. Dean Wade does nothing. Okoro did pretty much. I mean, he was 4 of 6, great, but he didn't do much. The rest of the team just shows up. I mean, you have a guy, Evan Mobley. He only scored 11 points. It did not seem like that last night, but he had 8 blocks. He had 2 assists. He had 8 rebounds. He was fantastic. And this Cavs team can beat you in a number of different ways. And exactly what they did last night, you were able to rest Garland, rest Donovan Mitchell. If it was a playoff game or a game of importance, they play. I promise you they play. Like, it's nothing serious. But you have the Lakers coming up. You have the Clippers. You'll have Golden State, Sacramento, Minnesota. I mean, you got a stretch coming up, man, that you need these guys. If this Cavs team can go, like, just keeps winning, dude, I don't even know what to say at this point, because I didn't think that this year we would be competing for an NBA title. I'm just going to be honest. I think because it always takes time for a team to gel, especially when you got a star like that. Well, I'm to the point. It's hard to say that they're not one of the favorites to win the NBA title, and we're only 8 games into the year. So
and I'm gonna real quick, some love over here on the side from MC. He's throwing some love Kevin Love's way, and I love that. Every time Kevin Love has a good game, I make a joke to Tyler about being blocked. Anyway,
I love it, man. I love it.
I know. And he says he hopes we obliterate and humiliate LA. Listen, I finally had a good meme. Did you see this? I finally had a good idea for a meme.
Fantastic.
And it was the LeBron going, I can't believe this is my life. And I put a screenshot of the Cavs being 7-1 and beating the Pistons. And I thought, oh my God, I finally did it. I made a good meme. It was funny. But I want to echo what you said going into this. Like I said, I've been very hot and cold with the Cavs ever since LeBron left, and I tried to hang around, and they were abysmal, and I didn't watch it as much. I'm not as dedicated in the NBA as I am the Browns and the NFL, but I'm coming back around. I thought, Donovan Mitchell, this is going to be fun. I really enjoyed watching them last year. I watched pretty much the second half of all of last year and had a really good time watching it. And I thought the same thing you did, mainly because I was listening to all these other podcasts and reading all these things that were saying, yeah, I think they'll probably be in the playoffs. Maybe they'll be in the play-in or somewhere around there. They'll mess around, and they'll be a team that is in somewhat of contention. And, maybe they get the 6th seed or something like that. I think that's as high as I saw them preseason, was like the 6th. I think 6th in the East. I think it's as high as I saw. And maybe I didn't see. Maybe there were some places that had them higher. But I can't come away watching this Cavs team. And this is even talking about the game in Boston, not even just talking that has happened since our last episode. But I watch these games and I'm thinking, why not? Why can't they compete if they're healthy? Like, because it's not like you said, oh, you're bringing in a superstar. It's going to take some time to integrate him. It hasn't. And it's like Ben Simmons, is it not Ben Simmons, Bill Simmons. I'm getting the player and the commentator mixed up there a little bit. He showed a lot of love on his podcast this week for the Cavs. And I mean, legitimately was like, I would not be shocked if they come out of the East. And I was like, that's the first like national guy, I think, to really say that in a very like and mean it, right? Not just going, oh, maybe maybe they'll surprise people. And he literally, like, if you have not listened to Simmons' pod, where he, I believe it's the most recent episode. I don't think he's released one since then, but his most recent pod where he was talking about it, it's always fun if you turn on a pod and one of the Cleveland teams is actually getting some love, and that was a national pod is what I mean by that. And I just why can't they, man?
They can. Right now you look, and again, we're early, and I want to reiterate. I'm going to reiterate that probably 6 or 7 times tonight. It's early in the year. Right now, the only team better than the Cavs is the Bucks. The Bucks are 8 now.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, you've beaten Boston twice. You're going to have a stretch where you're going to play the Hawks. That's coming up here very soon. I believe you have the Sixers coming up. And again, they don't have Harden right now. They're still good. They still have Embiid. He's a star. You have the Miami Heat coming up, but they're struggling. Everything right now is lining up to go the Cavs way. And the only reason that I did not believe this team was contending for a title this year, again, you're incorporating a superstar. It's not the easy transition, but like I talked about, it was a little over a week ago, I mentioned to you, this has been seamless, and you're seeing that. The way this is going right now, all bets are off, man. Like, there's a good – because I saw Chops tweet the other day. He's like, should I, like, open up my June plans? Like, keep my June schedule free? At this point, maybe. Because I don't know. When you're looking at the NBA landscape right now, because I have the standings – I mean, Phoenix, they're kind of an old team. I mean, the Jazz, I don't think they're great. The Pelicans are a team, if they come out of the West, I think they're really good if they're healthy. Yeah. I love what David Griffin is doing with the New Orleans Pelicans. The Mavericks, Luka. I mean, you always got to be careful of Luka. Golden State is struggling. That's your big team in the West to me, and that's Golden State, the reigning NBA champions. They're struggling right now. The Eastern Conference is there for the taking. The team that worries me the most for the Cavs is the Boston Celtics. And both those games went to overtime. It proved me right. I think Milwaukee is very good. They have Giannis, Chris Middleton when he's healthy. They have a good group there. But we have Mobley and we have Jared Allen. We are one of the few teams in the league that I'm not saying can stop Giannis. I'm not saying that. But we can more contain him and force him to his weakness, which is to shoot the basketball. And so this is setting up really nice. I mean, this is setting up really nice for the Cavs. They do, like, the Bucks still have Jrue Holiday. What the Cavs have, the Cavs are in better shape than all these teams because they don't have age. They have youth and they have stars. And that's scary for the rest of the entire NBA. Now, Giannis is young. Middleton, I think, is still pretty. But the Bucks are an older team. The Warriors are an older team. Everybody is an older team. Boston is not. That is why I fear them the most. Everybody else, man, is an older team. It's setting the stage that we never want to get ahead of yourselves like this. You're talking, especially with Mitchell, you could, knock on some wood here, you could seriously have a dynasty. You could. It's right there for you. And then let's say you win 1 or 2. I think Mitchell's re-signing. Yeah. This team, talent-wise, Jacob, again, we haven't won anything. But when you look at this team on paper, and of all teams in NBA history, it's up there. Because you have 2 All-Stars. My bad, 3. Jared Allen's an All-Star. Evan Mobley might very well be an All-Star at some point. Still very young. Karis LeVert, man, if he takes the step we think he's going to take, it's special. Jacob, this is a special team. It's great to get pumped about it. We have to temper expectations a little bit. But, man, like, people need to get excited because basketball is back in Cleveland. And I don't want to hear any let's trade for LeBron talk. I'm done. I'm not hearing that.
Is that there?
Yeah, because the Lakers are struggling, so people are saying we should give up Karis LeVert and Kevin Love. Bro,
Oh, no.
I'm not rude. I thank LeBron for what he did. I do. I don't want him back. He's 40. He's still great. I'm not messing with this team whatsoever. I'm rolling with it because JB has got this team. Everyone's bought in. This is a special, special team. Oh, man, it gets me so pumped. Oh, man.
So,
it gets me pumped, man.
So I want to build off of that. I want to build off of a couple of things that you said, and I'm going to mash a couple of these statistics from these past 2 games together to kind of illustrate that. And that is, you talk about, okay, only the Bucks have a better record. Great. That's true. Remember that the Cavs have had their second best player for 2 games in that stretch. Let's keep that out.
No.
Let's one of those games didn't even play a half. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's great. So we just talked about the game on Friday, yesterday, against the Pistons, in which the bench and all the backups and all that stuff contributed. Okay. On Tuesday, or I'm sorry, what was that? Wednesday, when they play Boston. They play Boston on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, when they play Boston, the bench only scored 16 points in that game. Their bench didn't play that well. Wade got 6, Love got 8, and you got 2 from Robin Lopez. Okoro didn't score. Jetty didn't score. Okay. Well, then how did you do it? You got 29, 25, 15, 15, and 14 from your starting 5. Donovan Mitchell has 20. He gets 25 and 44 minutes. His first game since the opener, Darius Garland plays 42 minutes, 29 points, and 12 assists. How is the facilitator going to come back into this offense when it's been run by Mitchell and LeVert? 12 assists. That's how. Did it in any way, shape, or form on Wednesday look like a different Cavs team that was trying to figure out where Darius Garland fit in? No, it was just the Cavs. And then yesterday, you talk about this. Yesterday, I saw someone tweet this just today. They tweeted it yesterday, but I didn't see it until today. And they were talking about yesterday's game. These Cavs are just having fun, dude. They're just out there playing basketball. They're 7-1. Their bench yesterday. Okay, so we talk about their bench not doing anything against Boston scoring-wise, really. Okay, then you had a starter get 0 points yesterday. A starter, 0 points. 2 starters. I'm sorry, because Isaac Okoro starts. 2 starters have less than 10 points combined. If you combine Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro, they win that game by nearly 30 because the bench goes for 15, 10, 21, 6, and 2. What do you want me to say? Yeah, there's plenty of things they can clean up. There's some things, and our good friend Dave, he'll be on the show on Wednesday. He's got some interesting takes that I really like, talking about some of Jared Allen's deficiencies and some things that we can talk about him early in games, about kind of starting a little bit slow and some things like that. And I'm really excited to talk to Dave this coming week, because he brings some really interesting perspectives and some disagreements and some awesome things like that. Kevin Love had a double-double with assists.
That was his first one since 2014 with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's only his 4th career assist triple-double.
And
Double-double. My bad. He could have had a triple-double if they kept him in, but it's all good.
I guess they talked about it, too. Did you hear that? Him and JB talked about it, but they were just like, nah, man, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree. Some people were kind of pissed. You should have just left. Dude, he's in his upper 30s. There's no reason. You have your biggest West Coast trip of the year. There's no need to risk an injury. I'm good with it. But, man, you hit it. This Cavs team can do what a lot of NBA teams can't. They can beat you a number of ways. Like you talked about, against Boston. We've already seen 2 games against Boston that have just been absolutely incredible. But your starters did everything. Everything. Against the Pistons, the complete opposite. There aren't many teams, if maybe 2 or 3 in the NBA, that can do that. And that's what makes this Cavs team as difficult to defend and beat as anybody in the NBA. And you mentioned Garland. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't have an explanation for all this. Donovan Mitchell coming in the way he has fits like a glove. Darius Garland being out this entire time, coming back, and it's like this team has played together their entire career. Like, you don't see that. I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know if any NBA analyst does. Anybody has an explanation for what we're seeing. It's not common. It's not like you can just incorporate a star and that's how it goes. Garland comes back and everything runs smoothly. I mean, they're doing alley-oops to one another. Like, dude. I mean, I know they worked together, worked out in the offseason together and whatnot. It's like him and Mitchell, Garland and Mitchell. Yeah. It doesn't explain the seamless transition that we have seen for the entire roster. And that a lot of credit goes to JB Bickerstaff for that. JB Bickerstaff is a very good coach. I know from time to time he makes a bad decision. Heads up, guys. Every coach in every sport at some point will make a bad decision. Okay? Let me just throw that out there. It doesn't mean they need fired. All right? It just means they made a bad decision. But JB Bickerstaff deserves a lot of credit for what's going on with this Cavs team. Yeah, they have the star power. But we even saw it last year, Jacob. That was a team that completely overachieved. And you can say talent, but you also have to say coach. Because when you have some of this talent that you had, John Beilein was the coach, and it went over to JB Bickerstaff, and there was a change. And you can see it. And yes, they did add more talent from that period. But if you look at when JB took over from Beilein, I believe they had a winning record, if not close to it, even with Garland. Mobley wasn't on the team. I don't even know if Allen was on the team at that time. Allen. You add Mobley, this team really starts to click. And JB Bickerstaff deserves a ton of credit for that. And he's going to be coach of the year. If this Cavs team gets to where we believe they're going to get to, he deserves that. He's a young coach too. It's exciting, man. Cleveland's got some exciting young coaches. And yes, I am referring to Kevin Stefanski too, because I love what he does. It's refreshing. It is. We haven't had this. I mean, even when LeBron was here as head coach, dude, Tyronn Lue, no disrespect. He was not a great coach. He was not.
That's why he's not worked out anywhere else.
Exactly. That's my thing. JB has had stints where he's been a solid coach. Now, he's also been in some pretty awful situations, like to where a coach gets fired, he's the interim guy, and they don't keep him. I don't think that's his fault. I think that's the organization wanting to make a change. But I'm excited. And I don't know how you can't be. With this team.
I mean, it's like, what is it about this team that doesn't excite you? Like, I mean, what's the problem if you got that going on there? You're like, I'm not sure. I'm not. It's really funny, because you talk about, JB and what is it that has made this so seamless, and I can't think of anything outside of coaching, like as to putting them in this position to succeed. Like, we know that they get to practice together, they spend time in the off season, we know that they get training camp in the preseason, they get all of these things, but it's just like everybody gets that though, and not everybody does this. Not everybody feels like this team feels like they're in mid-season form, like just out the gate. Like they're playing like it's the All-Star break, like it's like, okay, like what do you want me to do? Like, this is every bit as good as it could have possibly been. Like, I don't, there's, and you look at, and also, by the way, the Cavs are going really hard because those shirts that they gave away for that home game on Wednesday, those were pretty freaking sweet shirts. They didn't have to go that hard in October.
Hey, man, Dan Gilbert's got the cash. If he's got a good team, he'll splash it.
He really did. That is, and you know what? We say this all the time. Oh, this is what it was. Okay. I was trying to get myself back to the point that I had thought, and then I forgot what it was, and I remember what this is. This was my favorite part, hands down, of Wednesday, was the fact that Terry Francona was there wearing a Browns hoodie.
It was great. It was great.
Is that not get us on the highest level that it possibly could be?
Dude,
for Cleveland sports?
I loved that. When I saw that, I'm like, Terry Francona is actually at a Cavs. He's not wearing Cavs gear. He's not wearing Guardians gear. He is wearing a Browns hoodie. It was awesome.
Had like a rhinestone basketball too. Like it was great. It was like the epitome of Cleveland sports. I don't know, man. It's funny because I get on here and we talk about this a couple days a week, and we get on here and it's just, you feel like you're almost like regurgitating because all they continue to do is the same stuff. They just continue to find ways to be awesome and watchable. And I think they've done it in several different ways, kind of as we've touched on it a little bit here already. But like you kind of talked about something that I really liked, and it made me think of something that Nick had said, Nick Carnes had said on one of our previous episodes about the paint being a no-fly zone against Cleveland. And it's just like, so Mobley gets 8 blocks in this game, which is, I mean, if you don't follow the sport that much, like you'd be like, oh, 8 blocks, whatever. That is an asinine number of blocks in a single game. And like, it just kept happening. The dude just kept blocking shots, and don't act like Allen didn't block some shots in this game too. It just got overshadowed by the fact that Evan Mobley blocked 8 of them. I think not Donovan Mitchell. Karis LeVert blocked a couple, I remember. Like it was just like everybody. There was one Evan Mobley block that they called a block where the guy goes to go up and he just like goes like this and just like grabs the ball and takes it. And they're like, that's a block. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it is. Like, but he literally just like was like, bro, just turn around and go the other way. And he was like, all right, my bad. I'll give you the basketball. You go down there and and you know what? It translates to the video game. If you haven't played 2K, it's really, really good. I just got 2K today, and you can block the hell out of a basketball with Evan Mobley because it comes out of nowhere. That dude's just a ninja. I can't decide, man. And maybe people watching this can send me a tweet or a DM or a comment or whatever. I'm trying to figure out if I'm buying an Evan Mobley jersey or a Darius Garland jersey. That's where we're down. We're down to 2. That is where I'm at. I'm between those 2, and I cannot decide.
I'm going for Darius Garland. Like, that's the one I'm actually going to get. I'm getting a statement Darius Garland jersey. That black jersey is just so clean. I have been on the Darius Garland bandwagon since he was drafted. Everyone wanted to bail on him after his rookie year because he's like, well, dude, this kid, like, really? He's not that good. Like, that was his rookie year. Well, I mean, my bad. That was actually his freshman year of college because he didn't play his entire freshman year due to injury, similar to Kyrie Irving. And his second year, people were so frustrated. I said, give him time. This is basically his rookie year. You saw it last year. Darius Garland, all-star, point guard. Darius Garland's the guy I'm rolling with. So for me, it's easy. Mobley, for me, is a close third because I would go Mitchell at 2. Yeah. Having a Donovan Mitchell jersey is something at one point I do want because let's say he does leave in 3 years. We had Donovan Mitchell on the Cavs, man, in his prime. Mm-hmm. So I look at it that way. Mobley, though, is going to be a star for years to come. So,
oh, don't you even start.
Manny.
Don't you start, Manny. I see you in those comments. I see you down there giving those clovers. Manny wouldn't bet me. And it's probably because he had too many bets already going. Because, as soon as they lost on Wednesday, I just saw everybody. And Manny, I love Manny. And the dude will take it on the chin if he loses. But, his little crockpot video he sent to the Bengals. Oh, the Bengals fans after Monday Night Football is still probably my favorite. He's also the dude that clipped up a bunch of videos of me doing the one chip challenge, and he saves it in his back pocket for whenever I say anything ludicrous, which, by the way, there is no regular Barking Browns show this Tuesday at 8, but it is Jacob versus Apollo Pepper Wings night. And I will be going toe-to-toe with Hot One's new hottest sauce made from the Apollo Pepper, estimated to be over 2 million Scoville units. And for anybody that wants to know, when I did the one-chip challenge in the summer, that's about 1.6 million Scoville. And this goes over 2 million. So I am taking on 6 wings. I am whole bottle of sauce, right? All over, all 6 of those wings. I'm gonna just go at it. We're going to do it that way. It'll be fun.
That'd be
That'll be really fun. All right, Tyler. I think we've hit on just about everything. So let's get ready and wrap this bad boy up. So let's do some takeaways, some overall last kind of final thoughts. We've got back-to-back with LA, both LA games, Sunday and Monday. I feel like they'll lose one of them. I just do. Obviously, you're due. You're not going 81-1.
Let's just be honest, people.
Yeah, right. I feel like tomorrow is why Garland and Mitchell didn't play yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that I don't know if it's like a conscious thing, if they realize it, but I do think some of these Cavaliers really, really want to stick it to LeBron James. And maybe that's just the fan. Maybe the players don't care.
I think they do. Because everyone, and they've seen it on social media. Garland has. I guarantee you Allen has. Fans have wanted LeBron to come back. And they're like, we need you to come back, LeBron.
I guarantee you they've
seen it. Yeah, they have seen it. I guarantee you. Now, maybe it doesn't mean as much. I know Darius Garland, is part of Clutch Sports, so I'm pretty sure he has a relationship with LeBron and whatnot. But this is still a huge game from the aspect of you're taking down who many still consider the best player in the NBA. And I do agree with you. I do think we're going to lose one, maybe two on this road trip, just overall. I mean, you're going out west. It's not going to be an easy trip. Even though the Warriors are down, the Lakers are down and struggling right now, they're still good teams. They are. And we can make jokes about the Lakers all day. We can, that they're not a great shooting team, so on and so forth. They have LeBron James. They have LeBron James, and that alone makes them a very tough team to beat. The Clippers have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That makes them very tough. We can look at records all day right now. We can. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter right now. And Anthony Davis, he's been injured. LeBron did not play last night. Just something to keep an eye on. Because I guarantee you he was resting to play tomorrow. So I just want to say that. Yeah. So just temper your expectations a little bit. Like Jacob said, you're not going to go 81-1. And again, I really hope I'm not disappointing some of you. If you play 2K and you have your sliders all the way up, it's possible probably to go 81-1, but not in real life. So I think we're going to lose one or two on this trip, and that doesn't mean that's bad. If you can come out of a West Coast road trip with a winning record, that is a positive for any season. So I expect a winning West Coast road trip. I think we're going to see Garland and Mitchell tomorrow. I do. We might, and again, maybe not. We might not see him against the Clippers, and then we would see him against Golden State. That's how I think this will line up, but we'll see how JB wants to handle this.
I think they'll win tomorrow, though. I think they'll beat they'll beat the Lakers. I think that's where it is. I think I'm very excited to watch that game. It'll take place and do what I normally don't do on a Sunday afternoon, and that is be happy. All right, everybody. We are going to wrap this thing up here on I Agree Go Cavs episode 5. We will be back. I Agree Go Cavs will be back Wednesday morning for our non-live episode. We'll drop Wednesday around 8 a.m. Tomorrow, Monday, we've got Down with the Browns is back. The Scarlet and Gray podcast will be back and all of that. And we'll do all that great stuff on Tuesday. I'll eat really, really hot wings and you guys can have some good laughs. So we love you guys. The most valuable thing you can give someone is some of your time. So thank you again for giving some of yours to us. We appreciate you guys. We will talk to you again soon. Go Cavs.
Go Cavs, baby.
There it is.